Hello everyone and welcome back to Light. In this video I'm going to be giving you an overview for Eve. We're going to jump straight into today's video. We're going to start off on the tools tab, but quickly before we go through all the tabs, I'm going to go ahead and explain the functionality of the actual application. So when you open up the application, head to the tools tab, you can go ahead and resize Eve accordingly. It is pretty rigid when you go ahead and resize that, so keep that in mind. You have the minimize button, the maximize button, and also the X button. I'm going to keep it maximized for this video. So we're going to go ahead and begin on the tools page. We're going to break it down. So you have the knowledge base that you can go ahead and click open on. You have your Shopify manager, which you can click open on as well. So if I open this, we can scroll through a bunch of Shopify stores here. So let's say if I hit 100 thieves and I go here, I can add shipping rates, product linked, the rate name. I can go ahead and choose my profile from the drop down. I will go through a profile creation process as well. I can put in a dedicated proxy. I can go ahead and activate this, and I can put my username and password for the site. I will go ahead and get the shipping rate for me. I can actually put shipping rate text there, the rate name, as well as the country, and add that manually if I wish. We're going to go ahead and check out the splash baker, which is the next thing. So if we click this, what we can go ahead and do is open up a link here. So we can put a link in here, put a proxy there, select a proxy list from a proxy drop down, then the amount of browsers you want to add. So if I put 10 and I click add browsers, it will go ahead and add that many, as you guys can see on the dedicated link with the proxy in association with the proxy list. And then we have the remote task monitor. If you wish to do this, you can also configure it to auto connect and auto start tasks. If you hit connect and you set it up, then we'll go ahead and connect it. As you guys can see, it is connected. We're going to go ahead and disconnect here. And we have the manual cookie gatherer. Obviously for certain sites, you need to utilize cookies. So to break it down, all you guys want to do, so to break down the three buttons at the top, I can go ahead and import cookies, export cookies, and I can utilize the extension as well. Then we have a scroll here with all the sites that you can generate cookies for. As you guys can see, it ranges here. So let's say if I were to select one like Foot Locker UK, the cookies is 0 at the moment. I can go ahead and select a proxy if I wish, configurable in the proxy section, which we will get to. We can add a delay in there. You can go ahead and hit it, and as you guys can see, it's going to go ahead and pop up and begin the cookie generation process. Now moving to the settings tab, we have two buttons at the top, the import and export. This is simply for the settings. So if I go ahead and hit this, a file directly will go ahead and pop up. If I want to export anything in here, then I can go ahead and click export and I will export as a file. Then we have version. We can go ahead and check for update. If we hit this, give it a second. As you guys can see, it's downloading an update at the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and let that do that. We can also renew if it's a renewal. However, the expiry is lifetime, so there is no need to go ahead and renew. Our localization is set to English. And we can go ahead and deactivate the bot by hitting deactivate, and also reset the bot by hitting the reset button. Then we have the automatic log cleaner. You can go ahead and activate this. So if you hit this, it periodically clears the log every 3 minutes, or we can customize this. So you can say 10, for example. I can go ahead and do that. However, you can go ahead and turn that off so that it goes ahead and gets grayed out. Then moving to sound notifications, we can go ahead and activate sound notifications for these things. So if a capture is loaded, it can go ahead and activate a sound. The product added to cart, then it will activate a sound. The product checking out, and the sound will pop up, and also PayPal opening. I've gone ahead and activated this because when we go ahead and use a task in this overview, you're going to hear some sounds there. You can go ahead and get some premium proxies. If you want to get some red dirt proxies, you can hit this button and go through that process. Then to break down the quick and remote task settings, you can go ahead and select a profile. Either you can choose all profiles or dedicated profile from the profile section that you create in the profile section at the top. Then you can choose a proxy list. We haven't actually created a proxy list yet, so we're going to wait for that. However, you can select a proxy list and that's where it's going to appear. Then you have your checkout proxy list. It's the exact same thing. However, you can actually choose your local IP if you wish. Then for sizing, you can go ahead and click include or exclude. It's up to you. You can hit random if you wish, and that basically takes away the option. And then you can actually hit random if not available. So you have to untick this and tick this. So let's say if I wanted a size 5, but let's say size 5 is not available, then the bot knows to go for random by hitting this option. Then over here we have the mode. We have human, API, and manual. You can go ahead and configure this. You can also auto paste from clipboard and auto solve as well if you wish. If you hit this, it's going to say error, please set up an auto solve API key and access token in the capture tab first, which we will get to eventually. And then we have the EVEAIO section. You can go ahead and collapse your task on startup. You can share your success. You can go ahead and open your log location, and this will open up the logs. As you guys can see, I only have one log there. Then we can close the task window on saving and also open up the EVEAIO location if we wish. And moving to the log section, this is essentially all your logs from your tasks. So the main action here is auto scroll. Obviously it will scroll through all your logs if you have that enabled. You can resume it or pause it, it's up to you when you're auto scrolling, when you have that activated. And finally, you can go ahead and clear your logs if your logs are here. Moving to the proxies tab, the two buttons at the top is import and export. So once again, if you hit import, it's going to open up a file directory, and export, this is going to export your proxies out of Eve to other places. Then your main action section is add, edit, delete and duplicate. Then you have your proxy list name, the rotation and the proxy number. So we're going to go ahead and hit add here, and this is going to pop up. Once again, you can import and also paste. Then you can hit start test and stop test. This is to test your proxies that you do add. You can remove dead. So let's say you have like over 100 proxies and you're not sure if some are available or not. You can go ahead and test it by hitting start test, then remove dead to save you guys a lot of time. And then you can go ahead and configure your proxy list name. So I'm going to call it video test. It's important to remember that, as I will be referencing that later in the overview. Then for rotation, you have random or linear. Linear obviously going down in a list, and then rotation is random. Then for test, you can do website or ping. If you hit website, obviously it will go ahead and use a website. If it just pings, and they will use it on a ping test basis. Then we have the sections here: IP, port, username, password and status. So what I'm going to go ahead and do here is add it. Now to break down this section, you have IP, port, username, password and status. And as you guys can see, if I double click, I can go ahead and put in my own IP, username and password. And you might be thinking to yourself, there's no add proxies button, this is going to take a lot of time. But let's go ahead and reference the button we mentioned before and paste. So on my clipboard at the moment, I have one proxy. So if I go ahead and hit paste, the proxy is going to go ahead and be added there. And as you guys can see, the proxy is there for me to test. I'm going to blur it out for the purpose of this video, but the proxy is there. And then we have the test URL. We can obviously test our proxies with the URL here. Then we have the delay between tests. Then you can hit Chrome, and what I will go ahead and do is load up Chrome. Then we have the cancel button and the save button. However, before I hit the save button, I want to go ahead and test the proxy and show you that it actually works. So we actually need a test URL. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a test URL here, which is Supreme New York's website. I'm going to put the test to website here, and then it's going to go ahead and click start test. As you guys can see, the first section is invalid because there's nothing there, and then the proxy that I've blurred out is alive with a speed of 676 milliseconds. So now all I want to go ahead and do is hit, now that I've hit save, the proxy name is video test, the rotation is random, and the proxy number is 2. If I want to go ahead and edit this, I double click into it. I can go ahead and remove this by simply hitting on the panel and hitting delete, and we'll delete it. And then now my proxy is down to 1. If I save, the number will get updated over there. So within Eve, you can actually create multiple proxy lists. So at the moment I only have one, so this one's only selected. However, say for example I had loads of lists here and I hit this, I can hit the edit button, it will bring up the same UI once again. And I also have the delete button, so because this list is selected, I can go ahead and delete it if I wish. At the same time, I can go and duplicate it. So if I want to delete the bottom one, and as you guys can see, it goes ahead and deletes it. Now moving on to the capture section, let's go ahead and break down this side before I move to the manual capture solvers. We've got 2 capture API keys. If you want to go ahead and use 2 capture, you put your API key in there, you click check balance, it'll go ahead and check your balance for you. The same thing with anti-capture, and with image typers, it's based on a username password basis. You can go ahead and check your balance there. And then for autosolve, you can go ahead and put in your access token and your API key, one thing that we referenced previously in the overview. So for the manual capture solvers, I've gone ahead and created a solver. However, if you want to go ahead and know how to do that, you hit the addition button, and as you guys can see, it goes ahead and creates it. But let's say I want to have this checkpoint dedicated. I hit the tick, and that means this solver 2 is checkpoint dedicated. If I want to go ahead and activate it, I slide it to the right, and then the solver pops up. At the top here, I can go ahead and set a proxy if I wish and hit set. After I do that, then we have the YouTube button. So if I hit this, it will go to YouTube. If I hit Google, it will take me to the sign in page, and I can also clear the cache/IP by hitting this button. Now if at any point I want to go ahead and get rid of a solver, all I have to do is hit the subtraction button here, and it goes ahead and deletes it. However, I'm going to go ahead and leave that activated. I'm going to move to the notifications tab here, and this is simply for all your notifications within Eve. So we have a few types of notifications here. So we have social media. Discord, Twitter, Slack, and SMS. So we're going to go ahead and break down Discord first. So we're on the Discord tab. Obviously you can navigate to different tabs by clicking on it, but we're going to begin with Discord. We're going to go ahead and hit the addition button here, and essentially what that's going to go ahead and do is allow us to go ahead and put in a webhook. So if we go ahead and put in a webhook here, that will be added and ready to go. Then we can go ahead and activate this by sliding here. It's important to know you just adding the webhook doesn't activate it. You actually need to slide it to the right to activate it. Obviously slide it to the left to deactivate it, as all of them are deactivated at the moment. Then for Twitter, you can go ahead and put Twitter notifications. So if you hit the addition button here, you can go ahead and hit the consumer key. So you put your consumer key in there, then the consumer key secret, the access token, and the access token secret as well. Then for Slack, is very similar to Discord. All you guys want to do is hit the addition button, double click, put your hook in there, double click, put your username in there, and double click and put the channel that you want the notification to be sent to. And then moving over to SMS, you can go ahead and hit addition, account SID, the token, the number from, and the number to. So you can go ahead and activate that. And any that you go ahead and configure, just to reiterate, you need to make sure that you have it activated so it actually works. And then you actually have a send test message button at the bottom if you wish to go with the SMS option. Now moving over to the profiles tab, I'm going to go ahead and break this down. You have your main actions, which is add, edit, delete, and duplicate. That is for when you actually create profiles. As you guys can see, I've gone ahead and created a profile called user1. When you hover over it, it tells you the card, the groups it's part of, and also the name. I'm going to go ahead and leave that there for now. I'm going to show you how to create a new profile here. So we're going to break this down slowly. So before we do that, we actually have the more section that I want to quickly cover. If you want to go ahead and hit logins, you can go ahead and put logins as a login pool for certain websites. So let's say if I were to go down to clock.com and I go ahead and put a username and password in that format, I can go ahead and hit save, and I can utilize those logins with my tasks. Then we have groups as well. You can go ahead and create profile groups, which I will demonstrate in a second once I've created another profile. So let's hit cancel here. So to break down the profile creation process, you need a card number, your month and year, your CVV, the name on the card, and then the billing info section is first name, last name, email, telephone number, address line 1, address line 2, city, postal code, country, and state. And also if you want to go ahead and configure a separate shipping information, if you hit this, the shipping information tab pops up, but for this overview I'm going to keep it the same. And then for sizing, you can go ahead and activate profile based sizing. So let's say you only want certain sizes for certain profiles, you can go ahead and navigate here to utilize that. So we can go ahead and include it or exclude it, it's completely up to you. You can hit it random, so it goes for random sizes, and pick random if not available. So let's say I want to go for a size 3 and I hit this option, then we'll go for size 3. If it's not available, we'll go for the random option, and then we can hit save after we have done. Moving over to the additional data tab, you can go ahead and put your profile in there. So I'm going to call it video profile test, and I can put my date of birth in there. So for the purpose of this overview, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And what I'm actually going to go ahead and do is fill out the rest of the billing profile. However, the final thing before I go ahead and do that, you can actually enable the one checkout per website option if you wish to go ahead and do that. I'm actually just going through the profile creation process, and one thing I wanted to mention, that when you go ahead and select your country, here is a drop down, so you can use the scroll on the side if you wish, or you can simply type in the one you want. So I'm going to go to United Kingdom. I typed in United, it took me to the United section. Going to hit United Kingdom and proceed with my profile creation. Now once I've gone ahead and filled out everything, as you guys can see, my billing info is complete, my sizing is completed. I don't want profile based sizing. My additional data is also complete, as well as my payment details. I can go ahead and hit save, and it goes ahead and creates on the left hand side here. Now when we go ahead and do that, we actually have a couple of options here. We can hit the edit button, and it goes ahead and pre-fills everything back up, and I can go ahead and edit it. So if I make a change here, so let's say I change my name to John to Jack, for example, and I hit save, we go back to the profile here. As you guys can see, my name is now Jack Doe, and then I have the remove button. So if I want to remove it, I can hit the remove, and the clone button, which actually clones the profile. If you have a similar profile, you can go ahead and utilize that. However, I'm going to remove it using this button. Do you really want to delete the selected profile? Then you go ahead and click yes. Now one thing I did say I was going to overview is the groups button here, so I'm going to go ahead and click it. It's going to bring me to the profile groups section like I showed you before. We're going to go ahead and create a name here. I'm going to call it video test profile group like so. And at the moment there is 0 profiles in there. I'm going to hit enter on here so it saves, and I'm going to hit the save button. Now if I want to go ahead and add any profiles to that, all I want to do is right click the profile and hit the profile group like so, and it adds a tick next to it. The same thing for this. So if I actually go ahead and right click it, it's been added. If I want to remove it at any point, I go ahead and hit this. However, for the purpose of this overview, I'm going to make sure both my profiles are part of that group. And just to recap the main actions, you can go ahead and when you're selecting a certain profile, let's say if I were to select both of these, I can hit duplicate and it duplicates it. However, this is just for max actions. So let's say if I were to have loads of profiles, I can utilize these buttons for all those profiles. However, you can actually individually go ahead and do the exact same thing like I showed you before. But let's go ahead and get rid of our duplicates and move over to the success section. On the success section, I'm going to go ahead and break down what you see here. So you have the product, the link, the login, carting, checkout, and additional info. You can go ahead and screenshot this. So what that will go ahead and do is say screenshot taken, image successfully copied to your clipboard. So you can go ahead and paste that wherever you want. You can also click post success, and obviously I have no checkouts to share there, so it's not going to post anything. And I can go ahead and clear the success list if I wish, and it will go ahead and clear this page for me. Now moving over to the final section, we have the dashboard section, and this is where we can actually create our tasks. So you have the option to import and export tasks if you wish, and then we have our new task button, our quick task button, start tasks, stop tasks, edit tasks or mass edits, duplicate tasks, delete tasks, your presets, and also the monitor button here. And then we have status, task name, setup, profile, size, and your proxy list. So I'm going to go ahead and break down literally everything other than the new task button, and that is going to be at the end as I want to go ahead and run a test. So for the quick task, you hit this and the create quick task UI goes and pops up. I can put a direct link in there. I can configure the number of tasks. I can configure the quantity. I can also hit this drop down and use profiles. I can actually hit video test profile group and it actually shows me how many profiles in there. Alternatively, I can use individual profiles if I wish. Then for sizing, you can actually inherit from quick task settings, which we are configured in these settings, or we can go ahead and custom create it. So you can go ahead and put 3 in here, include, exclude. That is completely up to you. You can choose random if you wish and pick random if not available, things we've recapped before. And then for checkout, you have credit card, which is automatic, or PayPal, which is manual. And once you're done, you can hit save and start, and I will go ahead and create the quick task. And then we have the presets button here. So if you go ahead and hit presets, we have a bunch of platforms to choose from. I'm going to go ahead and look for foot patrol here. I'm going to click add, and what this go ahead and do is bring up the preset settings UI. So the first thing you have to do is enter a preset name. So let's say if I name this test, for example, and then we can go ahead and begin configuring this. So we can go ahead and choose the task type. Obviously we have direct link, SKU, and PID. You can put in the direct link here because we have that enabled. We can put in the SKU there because we have that enabled, and the same thing with PID. Similar thing with checkout, we can go ahead and choose which one we wish: credit card auto, credit card manual, and PayPal manual. And for various, we can actually enable 3DS cards if you go ahead and take this and hit 3DS card. Then for the general tab, you can go ahead and click sizing. You can go ahead and configure your sizing, something we've recapped. Same thing with the retry delay. If you hit this, you can hit exact and configure your delay or random, and by default is actually 2000, 3500. Then you have your price check. If you enable this, you can put you can slide that to the right and put a minimum and maximum if you wish. And then for advanced, you can go ahead and click advanced capture settings, enable this, and actually put in all your auto solve, your 2 capture, your anti-capture, and your image typers, dependent on what you need to put in there. Then at the top here, you can go ahead and click this tick and choose a profile from here if you wish. Same thing with the proxy list. You can choose from your proxy list, and it actually tells you how many proxy in there. And also you can do the same thing with your checkout proxy list. You can use a proxy list or your local IP. Then we have the monitor button at the bottom here. If you hit this, you can also hit the monitoring task button, and you can go ahead and create monitoring tasks. If you hit create task here, we can go ahead and configure it. So we have the platform, you can choose the Shopify, you can choose your profile here, you can choose your proxy list here, as well as your checkout proxy list, something that we've recapped in the overview. And then for Shopify, you can go ahead and either click all or the selected site. Then for your task type, it is only keywords only. So if you have positive keywords and negative keywords for checkout, you can do credit card auto or PayPal manual. And then for your login, if you wish to use a login, you can enable this and go ahead and put this in. You're going to hit this button and you can go ahead and edit it if you wish. And you can go ahead and edit your logins from your login pools if you wish. Then for various, you have your modes. You can go ahead and change your mode. You have your quantity that you can go ahead and configure the discount code as well as the password. Then for general, you can go ahead and choose your platform at the top. Once again, obviously configure your task name at the top. This is for sizing, retry delay, and your price check at the bottom. And then for advanced settings, it's the exact same thing as we mentioned before with the quick tasks. However, you actually have payment resubmission, so if you want to go ahead and do that, you can choose one-time run, or you can have it disabled if you wish. And as you guys can see here, just to show that it works, the monitor is picking up items here, and when an item goes ahead and gets picked up, we have this button to go ahead and create the quick task. You can copy the link with this, and also you can go ahead and hit this button and it opens up in your browser. So if I hit this here, it goes ahead and pops up in my browser here, and then we have the link that you can go ahead and copy as well, and it shows you the time it caught at, so 2020 6, 10, 11, 35, 42, and this is dependent on your local home PC time as well as the timer down there. Obviously new items are coming in, so it's hard to keep track, but you guys get the idea. Now the final thing to do is to go ahead and break down the task creation. However, for this I've gone ahead and singled down item on the Supreme EU website. I'm going to be going ahead and running a test task on the Supreme C-Line waterproof case. I'm going to go ahead and copy the link here and minimize my browser tab. So we're going to go ahead and hit the new task button, and this goes ahead and pops up. So the first thing in the top left is presets. If you have any presets available, then they will appear here by hitting this button. And then we're going to start off with the platform section. We can go ahead and choose what type of platform here that we want to go ahead and choose. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Supreme and click Supreme here. Then obviously the task settings go ahead and update dependent. Obviously if you go ahead and choose something else, I'm sure it will go ahead and change like this, like YME universe has a lot less options. For this overview, we're going to go ahead and focus on Supreme. So we hit Supreme, then we're going to hit the profiles. So you can use all profiles, use the video test profile group, or use an individual profile. But for the purpose of this overview, I'm going to hit video profile test. Then with the proxy list, you can choose your proxy list, which is video test. Then for the checkout proxy list, I can use the video test proxy list, or I can use my local IP, which is what I'm going to do in this instance. Then for Supreme, you have your task type, you have direct links in keywords. So I could put keywords down if I wanted. However, I copied the links. I'm going to go ahead and put the link in here. Then for checkout, we have credit card auto, PayPal manual, and cash on delivery. I'm going to go ahead and leave that credit card auto. Then my region is EU, so I'm going to go ahead and select that, but you have USA, EU, and Japan. Then for the various section, you can go ahead and change the mode, so it's browser and fast. I'm going to go ahead and put fast on. Then you're going to put your quantity. I'm going to go ahead and put 1, and then you have your capture priority there. You can enable capture bypass. That's not currently available in the EU, so I'm going to keep that off. So if these are tasks that are dedicated towards restocks, you can hit this button, and also you can enable the 3DS card. And at the moment, EU does enforce 3DS protections. I'm going to go ahead and enable that. I'm going to move to the general part here, and this is where we have sizing, our retry delay, our checkout delay, and our price check, things we've gone ahead and recapped previously in the overview. However, I'm going to go ahead and leave it exactly how it is. Then for the advanced section, we have our capture settings. So obviously if you enable this, we can run auto solve, to capture, anti-capture, and image typers. Then for watch task, you go ahead and create your first watch task if you wish. You can go ahead and enable this. You can go ahead and put in the number of watch tasks that you wish to put in there. And then finally, what you guys can actually do is edit the task name. So I'm going to label it video test task, like so. And that's going to go ahead and create, and then I can click save and start, so it starts immediately. I can click cancel and then just save to go ahead and save the task. So when I hit save, it goes ahead and creates the task in the background. Alternatively, I could edit some of these settings and go ahead and create another task in the background. However, I'm going to hit the X here and break down what you guys can see. So I'm going to go ahead and break down what you can see here. Your status is stopped because we're not doing anything. Our task name is video test and it gets cut off because it's too big of a name. Our setup is the link, which we're going to be using. Our profile is video profile. Our size is empty because it's random. Our proxy list is video test. Then we have the start button, and then we have the edit button here, so we can go ahead and edit our tasks once again, and also the delete button. Now the final thing to do here is go to the capture section and go ahead and activate our solver here. Our solver is going to pop up here. I'm going to go ahead and exit full screen in this overview, go to the dashboard and go ahead and hit the start button. Our status is going to go through everything. Give it a second. As you guys can see, noise notifications that came on as we enabled it in the settings. Then I'm going to go ahead and solve my capture here. I'm going to hit verify here. It's going to submit order and payment error, and then it's going to loop because obviously the profile doesn't have any viable payment information within it. So that concludes the overview for EVEAIOX.